Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous. We're going to start the webinar on the CoM SSA, the Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa Regional Mayors Forum right now. But first of all, just some rules for the interpretation. The webinar will be in English, so we have French and Portuguese interpretation available. If you wish to follow the webinar in a different language, you need to look at the bottom control bar and click on the interpretation button. After that, you can select the language you would like to hear. And if you want to hear the interpreted language only, you can click on mute original audio. We're gonna present the CoM SSA Regional Mayors Forum, and then you will be able to either speak or write your questions in the chat. So I give the floor to Shay.
Thanks, Nelson. Hi, everyone. My name is Shay O'Neill, and I'm the coordinator of the Project Coordination Unit for CoM SSA. You can go to the next slide, Nelson. So the PCU, working for the PCU means that I work closely with the co-funders of the initiative, the European Union, the German Cooperation, and the Spanish Cooperation. The implementing member state organizations, who some of you might work closely with, AECID, AFD, Expertise France, and GIZ, and the Secretariat team who's on the call today, who you'll be hearing from in just a moment. So thanks very much to all of our partners and funders. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of us as one team to say that we're really excited to be officially launching the CoM SSA Regional Mayors Forum. Next slide, please. CoM SSA was established in 2015 and has been growing ever since, quite substantially. Now we're at over 280 signatory cities. And the Regional Mayors Forum will be a really important addition to the initiative. Next slide. It is really long overdue, I think, that the signatory cities are really at the forefront of this initiative. As it continues to grow, I think it's more and more important that we have the mayors and the cities who are the beneficiaries of the initiative, who closer connected to the governance of the initiative, but also really at the forefront, leading as spokespeople and speaking on behalf of all of the signatory cities. So the Regional Mayors Forum will play a really important role of building that stronger connection between the governance structure and the signatory cities, who are the beneficiaries of the initiative. So you can see on the right-hand side on this map that we've adapted that shows a bit of the governance of CoM SSA. And you'll see the Regional Mayors Forum plays that key linking role between the steering committee and all of the signatory cities and the work that we're doing on the ground with all of you. The Regional Mayors Forum will also play a really important role in providing a connection to the global level. So as many of you know, we're part of this larger initiative, the Global Covenant of Mayors, with over 11,000 signatory cities around the world. And the Regional Mayors Forum will be a key linking point to the global level, as one of the members of the Regional Mayors Forum will also have a seat on the global board for the GCOM, which includes 10 mayors from around the world, and one of them from Sub-Saharan Africa. So we'll be able to have that connecting point to the global level, where one of the mayors will be able to bring forward the points and opinions and thoughts of all of the signatory cities, which will be really important for the broader initiative. Next slide, please. And in just a moment, some of the colleagues from the Secretariat will be going over in more detail what in the Regional Mayors Forum looks like, the roles and responsibilities, as well as the process for being elected to the RMF, as we're calling it. But I just wanted to bring up now some of the key reasons why I think we're excited and why you should all be excited to be a part of this initiative. So first of all, being a part of the RMF you'll be able to play a critical leadership role within the initiative. As I've mentioned before, they being this key connection point to the governance, also being able to act as an advocate for concrete climate action at the regional and global level, mobilizing other mayors in the region to support and speak out on issues related to sustainable cities and climate finance, and really growing the initiative from the bottom up, getting other mayors to join CoM SSA. Representing CoM SSA to stakeholders and participating in international and regional forums, acting as an ambassador to the initiative. So really the Regional Mayors Forum members will be our go-to mayors to be speaking on behalf of the initiative at events, whether it's in person or virtual, and also being spokespeople if there's inquiries from media requests or articles that are written about the initiative. And through these opportunities, there'll also be an opportunity to really highlight and promote the work that cities in Sub-Saharan Africa are doing on the ground and bring this to a more global level. So before I hand it over to my colleague Nelson to talk about this in more detail, I just want to thank you all for joining today, but also for being interested in joining the Regional Mayors Forum. And I really hope that you'll consider, or if you're here on behalf of your mayor or equivalent governor, I really hope that you'll encourage them to apply. Thanks so much, and I'll pass off to Nelson to continue on the details of the RMF.
Thank you, Shay. I'm going to speak in French now.
Again, thank you so much, Shay, for this presentation of the forum of the RMF. My name is Nelson Delamare. I am in charge of the Political Bureau of the CoM SSA. And I am going to give you more details on the composition of the Regional Mayors Forum. So who will have a seat, but also what are the roles and responsibilities of the members of the Regional Mayors Forum, and the qualifications that are necessary and required in order to be member of this forum. So regarding the composition of the Regional Mayors Forum, the forum is composed of 3 representatives per region. So there are different regions within the African Union. Northern Africa is not comprised in these different regions as part of the forum, because it's only about Sub-Saharan Africa. So we only have the representatives for Southern Africa, Central Africa, and West Africa. We also have East Africa and the Indian Ocean. So we have 3 representatives per region, and they will be selected based on their interest and qualifications in order to join the forum. Now, regarding the general responsibilities, so roles and responsibilities of the forum. As said, Shea, the members of the forum will be in charge of representing, but also voicing the interests of the 280 signatories of a CoM SSA. And they will be also in charge of gathering and bringing forward all these signatories' feedback, priorities, and strategic inputs on the activities and strategic direction of CoM SSA. That also entails developing key strategic input to the CoM SSA steering committee, but also to the secretariat of the CoM SSA, but also for the project coordination unit and partners in the region. There's another role, which is to represent CoM SSA to stakeholders during meetings, for instance, events, forums, media interviews as well. So you will be acting as an ambassador, but also as a spokesperson for the initiative. So for instance, if there are conferences, events throughout Africa, across Africa rather, the representatives of the forum will be invited in order to represent the, at political level, the CoM SSA initiative. There's another role, which is to mobilize the other mayors in the region so that they also support and speak out on key issues that are supported and championed by CoM SSA. For instance, access to climate finance, access to energy adaptation, mitigation, etc. Now, there are other roles, as you can see here, which is to raise awareness of CoM SSA and to help recruit new signatories to the initiative, namely in your respective regions, the regions of the representatives of the forum. And we will also ask the representatives of the forum to review and provide inputs on the strategic direction of the Global Common and Mayors, which will be presented at the GCOM board meetings. So the global board meetings of mayors for energy by the selected board member representing the region. So one of the members of the forum will be sitting at the table of the board for the Council on Climate and Energy. Finally, the representatives that will be elected to the forum will be in charge of participating in the process of nominating a mayor from the RMF to the GCOM board. As for the appointments, well, in order to be elected or appointed as part of the regional forum, the nominations will be reviewed every 2 years, or at least when the mayoral term ends. So the different representatives of the forum commit for a term of 2 years. In case of an unexpected termination of a term of a mayor who is a member of the RMF, then the vice mayor will be acting as deputy while waiting for a new member to be appointed or elected. As for the qualifications that are required in order to be elected or appointed as forum member, first and foremost, the applicants to this forum must be a political representative. So for instance, he can be a mayor or equivalent of mayor. A governor could be president of a council, local authority of a city or of a local government that is CoM SSA signatory. Also, the mayor or governor that would like to be a member of the forum should be free from any conflict of interest or issues that could tarnish the reputation of CoMSA, its partners or funders. Of course, the applicants to the forum must be willing to commit to the forum and able to act as an enthusiastic and proactive ambassador for CoMSA. They must show proactivity and dynamism, and therefore they should have good knowledge of CoMSA and the CoMSA initiatives. So these are the main requirements that I just mentioned, but there are also additional desired qualifications that can also sometimes be necessary. For instance, it would be good to have participated in some CoMSA events or workshops in the past. Also, an additional qualification would be to have the city that they're representing to have completed or made progress at least on a CIACAP, or finalizing maybe their CIACAP. So their action plan for access to energy and climate. Or for the city that they're representing to have received a GCOM badge. So a badge either regarding adaptation, mitigation, or access to energy. Or the representative should have experience, for instance, in representing assemblies, associations, or forums. And finally, another skill, desired skill, would be for that person to have proven leadership and outstanding advocacy roles. And that person should have knowledge and experience as spokesperson on themes such as climate change, the environment, and sustainable development. I'm going to give the floor to my colleague, Marina, who is going to give you more details on the election process at the CoMSA Regional Mayors Forum. Thank you. Thank you, Nelson.
Good afternoon to everyone joining us. My name is Marina Reisken-Flitz, and I work in the CoM SSA Secretariat under the Political Liaison Desk. So I'll just quickly take you through the election process for the CoM SSA Regional Mayors Forum. Next slide. So as you would all have seen, last week we sent out the call for expressions of interest, so basically the applications to all of the signatory cities via the mailer, and all of the documents were included as well. So if you are interested and you're a mayor or a president of a council or the equivalent governor, perhaps that's the case in your city or local government, we encourage you to apply and fill out the application form. And the deadline is the 11th of March. Next slide. So how will it work? How will we select the members of the Regional Mayors Forum? So all the expressions of interest which we receive will be reviewed by the CoM SSA Secretariat to ensure that they comply with the required qualifications, which have been listed in the documents. So we will also take into account gender balance, representation of secondary cities, country representation per region, so West, East, and Southern. And we hope to announce the composition of the Regional Mayors Forum on the 22nd of March. But how will it work if there's more than 3 expressions of interest per region? So if we receive more than 3 per region, then the RMF members will be selected by their peers. So if we receive more than 3 for West Africa, all West African signatories will be allowed to vote on an online process. So they'll be selected by their peers. Next slide. So each signatory will receive this list of potential candidates in their respective regions, and we hope to have this ready by the end of March. We'll see, and we'll also send along all the documents for all the candidates, so their names, the cities where they're from, and pretty much the motivation that goes along with why they think they should be a member of the Regional Mayors Forum. So this will assist all the signatory cities in selecting during the voting process their preferred candidate. And then the 3 candidates with the most votes in each region will be selected as members. And hopefully the voting process will end on 15 April, and then we'll announce the final composition on 19 April. Next slide. There's also a question of what happens in the case that a term ends for Regional Mayors Forum member. So then a new call for expressions of interest will take place again within that region, and the process will start. And again, we'll also consider city size, secondary city, gender, all of those qualifications that we originally will look at in the beginning. And you can find more information on the chairperson if that term ends in Appendix 2 of the documents. But should that happen, then the vice chairperson will ensure the interim management of the Regional Mayors Forum. Next slide. Sorry, before I give over, so that's the election process, but we remain on hand to answer any of your questions regarding the selection and election process. Thank you very much.
Maybe Mohamed, if you want to add some few things before we go to the question and answer.
Allô?
Oui, bonjour Mohamed.
Non, je voudrais juste
I simply wanted to add, if you'll allow me, to talk about the forum itself. Shia and Nelson have really well summed up the forum. I think that the CoM SSA has been going through 3 different phases in Africa. First, you have engagement, the engagement phase, which has allowed us to have almost 300 signatories. Second phase was structuration, with the elaboration of different action plans that are essential. We are currently in a phase of finalization of an important process, which is the implementation of a secretariat for the convenant that is almost operational, and the creation of a forum that is essential for Africa. I believe that what matters most is to understand that the forum must have a crucial role in expressing the voice of Africa related to different elements, including advocacy, which is essential, because regardless of the action that you implement in the field, if you don't have a multi-layer governance, if there's no link between the regional, local, and national level with good coordination, the action in the field cannot be sustainable. Secondly, the role of the forum will also be to make access to financing easier, because it will be a good platform to advocate for direct financing for local authorities. And I believe that the forum could have a crucial role to play in that matter. Thirdly, the forum will be a platform for experience sharing, to share success stories, but also pitfalls to be avoided. And I believe that the forum will also be an incredible opportunity for Africa to make sure that climate-related issues are structured across the local, national, and regional level, to make sure that we have engagement from key stakeholders at all levels. And I don't want to take up too much of your time on this issue. The interpreter cannot hear the speaker anymore. Thank you very much, Mohammed. We can now start the Q&A session regarding the forum, regarding the Regional Mayors Forum. Mohammed, yes, I apologize. Were you done? We couldn't hear you anymore. No, I apologize. I just wanted to talk about COP27, which is going to take place in a very special context. And I believe that the forum could be a good vehicle in order to make local Africa's voice heard during the COP27 event. Thank you, I'm done. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Yes, indeed, you're right. This is really important to note this. There are different events this year actually that are going to take place and that are going to be really important for CoM SSA and for the climate action in Africa, including the AFRICID Summit, which will be held in May in Kenya and Kisumu. And as Mohammed said, there will be COP27. We can now start the Q&A session. So feel free to ask your questions. Over to you, you have the floor. Oh, I can see that someone has raised a hand. Go ahead, you can take the floor. Hello. Yes, hello everyone. My name is Alain Coffey. I work at the Cotonou 1 Mairie in Togo. My question is about the final date for submission of the applications. You talked to, I don't remember what it was. Can you say that again? When is the final date, the deadline to apply? Well, thank you very much for your question. Well, the deadline to apply is March the 11th. But you should have received by email the document with a letter of information on the forum. And at the very bottom of the letter, you have also the form, a form that you should fill out and send back to us with the required information, so we can review your application. Any other questions so far? Yes. Hello. I also work at the Cotonou 1 city. I was wondering, who are the members that are going to be voting? Is it the mayors of the forum or other mayors as well? Well, it's going to be basically all the mayors of the region. So for instance, if for Western Africa, we have more than 3 applicants, then there's a vote that is proposed for the mayors of Western Africa, so of that region. So they will be able to vote for the candidates that have applied to the forum. Okay, thank you. About the requirements, can you hear me? Yes, we hear you. I have one other question. Going back to the requirements, you said that it would be good for the person to have received a CoM badge. And another question on requirements. Yes. Hello. Cotonou 1 Togo, this is where I work. Regarding the requirement, the qualifications, so you have two main items. So having already taken part in CoM SSA events, and I would like to know if you're talking about international workshops or national workshops as well. Second question. You say having finalized or progressed in the CICAP. Now, I would like to know, what do you mean by having progressed? To what level? Because, for instance, we have finalized the diagnosis phase, and we're currently initiating the elaboration of the action plan. So is that enough for us to apply? Well, first, thank you very much for your questions. Regarding the qualifications, again, these qualifications are desired only. So it's not a requirement. You don't have to have taken part in workshops or events, but it's preferable. Now, for the type of workshops, it can be international workshops or national workshops, but yes, it is a desirable qualification to have at least a little bit of knowledge on the CoM SSA and CoM SSA initiatives. Now, regarding the progress on the CICAP process, you don't need to be at a certain stage of the elaboration, but the best is for at least to have started the process. So there's no minimum level, no minimum threshold. As for the CoM badges, again, we understand that not all cities are at the same level. Therefore, the badges is just a bonus. For instance, if a city doesn't have this badge yet, you can still apply for the forum. However, we will probably give priority to the cities that have received or that have, for instance, made more progress on their CICAP than another city, or if the mayor or political representative has already taken part in a lot of different events, or for instance, if they know CoM SSA really well, for instance. Any other questions so far?
you have any question, also to answer question to the help desk, I think my colleagues posted the email address on the chat if you have any further question. You can also contact us in Portuguese.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do so.
Any further question from the attendants? You can raise your hands. No more question?
No, no more question. I think we can move on.
Okay. Nicola, would you like to do like the last presentation for today?
Thank you, Nelson. I'm just going to share my screen. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Thanks, Marina. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicola Rule, and I work on the CoM SSA Secretariat. I'm briefly going to present two global initiatives that we're encouraging cities to join on climate change: the Cities Race to Zero and Cities Race to Resilience. So these are global initiatives being run by a group called the High Level Champions, who are linked directly to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and to the international climate change negotiations and conferences. And the purpose of these initiatives, which is linked to what Mohammed was saying about representation at COP, is to showcase how cities are acting on climate change and to ensure that the voices of cities around the world are being heard at the highest level of climate change negotiations. And so we're encouraging African cities to join these initiatives so that African urban voices are being heard. The Cities Race to Resilience is focused on adapting to climate change, so responding to the impacts of climate change to ensure that the most vulnerable people are being supported and that they are becoming more resilient. The Cities Race to Zero focuses on a green and just recovery from COVID and meeting the Paris climate change mitigation objectives of keeping global warming to 1.5 degrees or less. To join either of these initiatives involves taking a pledge and committing to several actions. So for the Cities Race to Resilience, the first action is to conduct a climate risk and vulnerability assessment for the city. So assessing how climate change is impacting the city and how it's likely to continue to impact the city. For the Cities Race to Zero, the first commitment is to publicly endorse climate action, so to acknowledge in media and social media that climate change is an important issue to be addressed, and then also to pledge to reach net zero emissions by 2050 at the latest. And then for both initiatives, the pledge also involves committing to setting targets for adaptation, climate change adaptation and mitigation, taking action, and then publicly reporting on progress towards those actions. So these commitments are very closely aligned to the CoM SSA initiative and to what cities are already doing in developing sustainable energy access and climate action plans, which include target setting, risk and vulnerability assessments, and action planning. And so we're encouraging cities who are already in that process of developing a CSACAP to commit to the Race to Zero and Race to Resilience because they're already meeting some of the commitments for those initiatives. So for more information on either of these initiatives, you can visit their websites, so citiesracetozero.org or citiesracetoresilience.org, or contact the CoM SSA help desk. Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Nicola.
Nicola, thank you very much for introducing us to the two initiatives, which I find very, very interesting, and we will definitely apply. I mean, Kilimani City will definitely apply to both. I mean, I just want to find out if there any timeline on the issue, like is there any like initial date or like limit for application, or if it's open all around the year?
It's open and ongoing.
Okay.
So anytime.
Thank you very much.
Are there any further questions from the attendees? Yeah, I think that's
Thank
it.
you, Nelson.
Thank you very much, everyone, for participating today in this short webinar on the Regional Mayors Forum. If you have any further question on the Regional Mayors Forum, do not hesitate to contact the help desk of the Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa. So the help desk, you must have like received emails from the help desk at comsa.org. And again, just as a reminder, the application can be sent until on the 11th of March. Thank you very much for participating again, and thank you to all the presenters, Mohamed, Shea, Marina, Yarita, and the rest of the team, and Nicola.
Thanks, Nelson.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.